The world woke up to shock and disbelief over the weekend as news broke of a dramatic US military operation in Venezuela. In a move reminiscent of America's invasion of Iraq, American forces launched a direct intervention, captured Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro, and announced that he would be flown to the United States to face trial in a New York federal court. Within hours, the foundations of the international rules-based order, already under strain, were thrown into chaos and question. US President Donald Trump says America is in charge. This, as acting President Delcy Rodriguez has called for cooperation with the US, a softening in her response to the stunning attack. The US is working to establish a pliant interim government in Venezuela. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the focus is on setting policy and maintaining leverage. What's worse, Trump has indicated that he could take military action in other countries, such as Colombia. He's told Mexico to get its act together on drugs and said the US needs Greenland for its national security.
You were just talking about Cuba and what could come next there. Are you considering U.S. action in Cuba?
We're not. I think it's just going to fall. I don't think we need any action. It looks like it's going down. It's going down for the count. You ever watch a fight?
Yeah.
They go down for the count. And Cuba looks like it's going down. What do you think? And by the way, you have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together because they're pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something. We'd love Mexico to do it. They're capable of doing it. But unfortunately, the cartels are very strong in Mexico.
For decades, global norms have rested on the principle of national sovereignty, that no country, however powerful, can simply remove another nation's leader by force. This US action has shattered that assumption. Supporters in Washington have framed it as the enforcement of justice against an authoritarian ruler, accused of crimes ranging from corruption to narcotics trafficking. Critics at home and abroad have called it a dangerous act of unilateralism, one that could redefine how power is exercised in the 21st century. Inside Venezuela, the mood is not celebratory. It is fearful, uncertain, and deeply divided. Streets that once echoed with protests are now quieter, not from relief, but from shock. Many Venezuelans despised Maduro's rule, blaming it for economic collapse, mass migration, and political repression. Yet, his sudden removal by a foreign power has left a vacuum filled with anxiety. People are asking basic questions. Who is really in charge? Will food supplies continue? Will the military remain loyal? And perhaps most unsettling of all, what comes next? President Trump addressed the nation and the world. The United States will run Venezuela until it's stable, he declared, promising order, economic recovery, and real democracy, as he put it. The statement raises more questions than it answers. What does it mean for the US to run a sovereign country? Is this a temporary trusteeship, a military occupation, a civilian administration backed by American power? An interim president has been appointed. The plan, according to US officials, is to oversee a transition, rebuild institutions, and organize elections. But history looms large. From Iraq to Afghanistan, attempts to externally manage political transitions have often produced unintended consequences: insurgency, corruption, and prolonged instability. Venezuelans know this, and many fear becoming the latest example. Beyond Venezuela's borders, the shockwaves are spreading fast. An emboldened Trump administration is now issuing warnings to other governments, which it labels as hostile or illegitimate. Trump has warned that Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, may have to pay a bigger price than ousted leader Nicolás Maduro if she doesn't do what's right. Rodriguez served as Maduro's vice president since 2018, overseeing much of Venezuela's oil-dependent economy and its feared intelligence service, and was next in the presidential line of succession. Trump has said, if she doesn't do what's right, she's going to pay a very big price, probably bigger than Maduro. Trump initially praised Rodriguez after US troops captured Maduro and his wife from Caracas. Rodriguez later said that her country would defend its natural resources. Trump then warned that a second strike on Venezuela was not off the table if Rodriguez does not cooperate with the US. He said, "We are dealing with the people who just got sworn in. We were prepared for a second wave. We're all set to go, but do not think we will need it. We'll hold elections at the right time." Ominously, but not surprisingly, Trump added, the US needs full access to oil and other resources in Venezuela. Many have argued this military action was never about Trump's war on drugs. It was always about oil. Trump also defended his decision to take Maduro by force, saying, "Rebuilding there and regime change, anything you want to call it, is better than what you have right now. Can't get any worse." And now, an emboldened Trump, seeing the action against Venezuela as a major victory, is brazenly threatening other countries. The US president has warned that other countries may also be subject to American intervention. He said, "We do need Greenland, absolutely. Greenland is an island that's part of Denmark, a NATO country." Trump then threatened Cuba, saying Cuba is ready to fall and it would be hard for Havana to hold out without receiving heavily subsidized Venezuelan oil. "I don't think we need any action. It looks like it's going down," he said. In a warning to Colombia and Mexico, Trump said, "Colombia is governed by a sick man. He will not be doing it very long. Operation Colombia sounds good to me. We have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together. If they do not behave, we will carry out a second strike on Venezuela."
Now, we have a very sick neighbor. It's not a neighbor, but it's close to a neighbor. And that's Venezuela. It's very sick. Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
What does that mean? He's not going to be doing it very long.
He's not doing it very long. He has cocaine mills and cocaine factories. He's not going to be doing it very
So there will
long.
be an operation by the US and
It sounds good to me.
Venezuela's interim president has called for a balanced and respectful relationship with the United States. Delcy Rodriguez has said, "We extend an invitation to the US government to work together on an agenda for cooperation that is aimed towards shared development." Venezuela's defense minister, Vladimir Padrino Lopez, has warned that the world should be on their guard because US action poses a serious threat to the global order. Lopez said, "If today it was against Venezuela, tomorrow it could be against any state or any country. I call on the people of Venezuela to remain peaceful and orderly and not fall into the trap of psychological warfare, threats, and fear that others want to impose on us." Terming US action imperial aggression, he's also called for the immediate release of Nicolás Maduro and the First Lady Celia Flores. Maduro landed late Saturday afternoon at a small airport in New York City's northern suburbs following the middle-of-the-night operation that extracted him and his wife from their home in a military base in the capital city of Caracas, an act that Maduro's government called imperialist. The couple faces US charges of participating in a narco-terrorism conspiracy. The dramatic seizure of the Maduros capped an intense Trump administration pressure campaign on Venezuela's autocratic leader and months of secret planning, resulting in the most assertive American action to achieve regime change since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. Legal experts have raised questions about the lawfulness of the operation, which was done without US congressional approval. As we mentioned, Trump is now threatening other countries, and the Venezuela military action has set alarm bells ringing in many parts of the globe. Cuba, long a symbol of resistance to US power, is watching nervously. Iranian leaders have condemned the action, calling it proof that Washington no longer respects international law. Even countries with no ideological alignment to Venezuela are unsettled because the precedent is clear. If the US can do this once, it can do it again. The Colombian government has condemned Washington's attacks on Venezuela and announced plans to fortify its eastern land border, a historic hotbed of rebellion and cocaine production. The Colombian government, in fact, held an emergency national security meeting after the attack on Venezuela. Greenland's mention in Trump's rhetoric, previously dismissed as a joke, has taken on a more serious tone in this new context. Smaller nations and territories are reevaluating what US power now looks like when unconstrained by traditional diplomatic limits. Even longtime allies in Europe are uneasy. While many quietly approved of Maduro's removal, some have warned that bypassing international institutions undermines the very system that prevents global conflict. The consequences of this movement are only beginning to unfold. In the short term, Venezuela faces a fragile transition under foreign supervision. In the long term, the rules governing international order may be permanently altered. If power, rather than law, becomes the final arbiter of legitimacy, the world may be entering a more volatile and dangerous era, one where borders are less secure, norms are optional, and fear replaces predictability. For now, Maduro awaits trial in New York, Venezuela waits for clarity, and the world watches, asking a single question. Was this the enforcement of justice or the beginning of a new and dangerous chapter in global affairs? Many have termed the US action the law of the jungle.